As many of you know, the Star Wars fanbase is having a bit of a crisis right now. Many fans were displeased with many things that The Last Jedi did to the Star Wars canon, such as making Luke basically a hermit, and the second coming of Jar Jar Binks, Rose Tico. This backlash continued with the next Star Wars movie, and as of right now, Solo: A Star Wars Story's second weekend had a 65% decline from the opening weekend, which by itself wasn't mind-blowing either. Fans do not want what Star Wars is giving to us Star Wars fans, which is why I've created a video today about the top 5 Star Wars movies that must be created. Let's get started with today's video. Number 5. Boba Fett: A Star Wars Story. Even though he does have a massive fan base, Boba Fett plays such a small role in the original trilogy. A movie involving Boba Fett, Cad Bane, Bossk, and a few other bounty hunters between episodes 3 and 4 would make such a great movie. The trouble with this movie that it may be too similar to Solo: A Star Wars Story. In order to create a unique plot, I could imagine many bounty hunters having to track down rogue Jedi that were not killed during Order 66. Many other characters would almost be guaranteed to show up, like Jabba the Hutt. The perfect actor to play the role of Boba Fett would be Daniel Logan, best known for playing young Boba in Attack of the Clones.
Yep.
Number 4. Maul: A Star Wars Story. This will contain spoilers for Solo: A Star Wars Story, so skip to the next entry if you haven't watched it yet. After Maul's amazing scene at the end of Solo, fans were left on a cliffhanger. A spin-off film including Maul, Qi'ra, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and maybe even a few other characters from Solo would be exactly what fans want after realizing he survived the events of The Phantom Menace. The film would definitely take place after Revenge of the Sith, but before he is killed by Kenobi in Star Wars Rebels. Speaking of Star Wars Rebels, Maul is still shown to be incredibly powerful, killing Sith Inquisitors like it was nothing. Ray Park would definitely reprise his role with hopefully a few surprises like Ahsoka Tano or even Darth Vader. Number 3. Starkiller: A Star Wars Story. When Disney bought Lucasfilms, Starkiller or Galen Marek was erased from the Star Wars canon. The story from both of the Star Wars The Force Unleashed games could easily be created in a movie format with a few changes. On top of the great story and characters, the coolest thing about a movie like this would be the amazing visuals and Force powers. Take a look at this clip from the second Star Wars The Force Unleashed game. This could also be created as a trilogy of movies, as the story is much too large to fit in just one film. It would also be another excuse to put Yoda in another Star Wars movie.
Then you'll let me pass.
Brought you here, the galaxy has. Your path, clearly, this is.
Number 2. Kenobi: A Star Wars Story. This is the movie that people want. Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ben Kenobi, was on Tatooine for 19 years before he trained Luke in the ways of the Force. Kenobi must have some cool stories to tell, if it can involve Mace Windu, Yoda, or even being taught by his old master, Qui-Gon Jinn.
An old friend has learned the path to immortality. One who has returned from the netherworld of the Force, your old master.
Qui-Gon.
This movie is the most likely to happen, as it's been talked about a lot for the past few months. The only thing we have to worry about is if Disney casts Ewan McGregor. Could you imagine if some other actor gets hired?
How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
Before we get to the most desired Star Wars film, here are some honorable mentions. A movie with Darth Plagueis training Palpatine. A Luke Skywalker movie set after Return of the Jedi. A movie set during the Clone Wars featuring Republic commandos. And lastly, a movie exploring Snoke's past and how he was trained. Number 1. Knights of the Old Republic. Probably the highest rated Star Wars games ever released. The story told in these games are probably better than those told in some Star Wars movies. With the creators of the Game of Thrones working on a new Star Wars trilogy, a movie focusing on the Old Republic era could be a great time period. Could you imagine a movie with Revan, Malak, Karth, Bastila, and HK-47?
Conclusion. I'm going to pull your head off, because I don't like your head.
The story is literally already created for Disney. All they have to do is actually make the movie. For those who have never played the games, the reveal shown in the movie would be one of the most shocking moments in a Star Wars movie. Another thing that could come with the release of the movie could be another KOTOR game, or a remaster of one of the first 2 games.
Negative. I just don't like organic meat bags. Except for the Master, of course.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If Disney listened to any of the backlash from the last 2 Star Wars movies, they would know that creating any of the movies on this list would likely stop all of the boycotting. Let me know which Star Wars movies you want to see in the future, because there are a lot of upcoming films in the making. Thanks for watching, have yourselves a good day, and may the Force be with you.